Hello everyone, I'm back with another video for you today, this time on the official Marvel Snap YouTube channel. My name is Freddy Babes, I make Marvel Snap YouTube videos, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new card, Man-Thnig, which is pretty interesting. There's quite a few different things you can do with this card. I'm going to go a little bit in depth on some of the ideas, some of the concepts, archetypes that you could slot this new card into. But yeah, it's 4 energy, 5 power, with an ongoing effect that's going to take away 2 power from any 1, 2, or 3 cost cards at the Man-Thnig location. That includes your own cards, so be careful when you play this. If you're going to use Man-Thnig, keep in mind that he is also going to negatively affect your own cards as well as the opponent's. Now, this is a very powerful effect if you're able to, take 2 power away from 1 or 2 or even 3, maybe even 4, I guess, if you're going crazy with it, units, then you're going to get a lot of value from this. And there's going to be quite a few different decks that Man-Thnig is going to work very well in. Now, worth keeping in mind that because he takes away power from your own units, there's an obvious synergy there, which is going to be Luke Cage. Being able to, prevent your cards from having their power reduced is going to give you more flexibility in terms of where you play your Man-Thnig, what location he goes into, where your other cards go as well. So that's something you could think about using. Luke Cage, maybe with Hazmat. These kind of decks probably would enjoy a Man-Thnig in there since his downside is negated. You could also consider running 0 cost cards like Yellow Jacket. I love Yellow Jacket, awesome card. This card is not going to be affected by Man-Thnig because it's 0 energy. So Yellow Jacket and Wasp, which is a card I have in the deck that I'm going to play today, both not going to be caring that much about Man-Thig's drawbacks. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. You can cook something up there if you like making your own decks. There's something to be done with those kind of cards. Maybe with Valkyrie perhaps even works quite well with ongoing cards, which is something that Man-Thnig is doing. I don't know if you're going to have mana to do those kind of combos, but that's another card that synergizes here pretty well. What I'd like to talk about that's actually very cool is Lady Deathstrike. You can use Lady Deathstrike to destroy all the cards with less than her power at a location. So obviously if you're using the Man-Thnig in a location that the opponent has a lot of cards that are 1, 2, 3 cost in, you can then slam that Lady Deathstrike and destroy all of those, cards after they've had their power reduced. So that's a very cool synergy. Might mean that Lady Deathstrike can be a little more playable. Other synergies that you should be very aware of with Man-Thnig are Zabu, of course, just, reducing the cost is going to be really nice. You can play that with a bunch of other 4-cost cards. That should be a pretty solid deck to slide the Man-Thnig into, get a lot of value out of your Zabu and your 4-cost cards. We've also got High Evolutionary, which is what I'm going to be playing a bit of today. Works very well with Man-Thnig. Of course, you reduce the power on the opponent's cards, and then you can follow up with Abomination, which, I should show you with the High Evolutionary, right? Costs 1 less for every enemy card that's afflicted with negative power. So that's a great sort of option to reduce the opponent's strength, get your Abomination costing less if you're playing a High Evolutionary deck. So that's another nice tool for High Evolutionary. Already a pretty good archetype, I would say, pretty good deck, and maybe getting even stronger with Man-Thnig. There's also some potentially cheeky things you can do with Viper, maybe giving cards to the opponent. I don't know. There's some clog shenanigans could be quite strong, maybe, if you run Luke Cage in a clog deck. You could go with Viper, you can go Green Goblin, give the opponent a 3-cost card that Man-Thnig can then take away strength from. So there's a lot of interesting clog synergies. Perhaps you're on a Luke Cage, you go with the Debris as well. Debris, give your opponent the rocks. That can be a really nice way to, make the opponent's life a bit difficult, give them those low-cost units that are then going to be losing strength because of Man-Thnig. So there's some interesting, clog synergies. I would definitely try building a trash deck, if you will, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, you've just got ongoing. Man-Thig's an ongoing card, so if you want to just play your typical sort of Spectrum, maybe you play even an Onslaught, and you can double the effect of the Man-Thnig if you want. That's something you can do. If you're an ongoing enjoyer, then feel free to slot the Man-Thnig into the deck. But that's kind of a bit of a rundown of, I think, the most obvious archetypes that work very well with this card. So with that being said, let's go and play a bit of High Evolutionary and see how Man-Thnig performs in that deck. Will it make the Abomination really crazy strong? I think it probably will. Let's find out. Okay, let's get into it. We've got the Man-Thnig in hand. Sunspot for the early game as well is pretty nice. I might just hold off on playing that, to be honest. Actually, no, there's no reason to do that. That's not how High Evolutionary works. It used to be that the Hulk would get boosted wherever he was, but now, sadly not. So, we can go ahead and play Sunspot. We're in the Miniaturized Lab. That's really nice. I'm going to go with the Misty Knight that as well. And we can start getting the boosts, which is pretty good. And the lab is good, because the Man-Thnig, you know, we're going to have more ability to take away what the opponent's strength, I think, here. Our units that are low cost are sort of going to be safe in the middle location, and yeah, hopefully we can get some great value. Oh, I say they're going to be safe? Well, not if Killmonger has anything to say about it. But okay, we've got Man-Thnig here. It's pretty damn strong in the Pet Mansion. Going to take away some of what the opponent's got going on at the moment. Just a bit of a shame that my early game plays have been Killmongered away. But hopefully it'll be okay. There's a Shang-Chi. Doesn't get affected by Man-Thnig, but there we go. We're getting a bit of value. I don't have the Abomination. And the opponent is staying in the game here, which is a little bit scary. It is a little bit scary. I'm sort of tempted to go with Professor X here to lock down the Vormir. Maybe we get a cheeky win in that location. We could also go with the Thing and then just play Hulk middle. Well, it's only going to be 14. It's not... It's a little bit dicey, you know, if they play a big card in the right, that could sort of end up being a little awkward one way or another. I think I will go with the Professor X here. Hopefully it'll be difficult for the opponent to play 2 cards in Vormir. And we can take a cheeky victory over there. The Man-Thing's just completely locking down this location. If we wanted to even play the Hulk there, we can. It's a little... I suppose we're a bit vulnerable to like a Jeff play, but I think we should be okay. I'm just going to jam the Hulk. We could go with the Thing or whatever, but I think that should be fine. Gonna just take a pretty chill win there. Bit of solid Man-Thing value, even with the Killmonger. Although, to be honest, Professor X was kind of the star of the show here. Let's go for another game. What is going on? Sinister London. We can play a lot of Man-Things potentially. The Hulk's gonna get buffed up as well, which is really nice. TVA. Okay. Okay, we've got the Abomination. I don't have Man-Thing. I think I'm going to get rid of TVA. I don't think it looks great for me if we're ending the game after turn 4. I think I'd much rather get rid of that location with the Storm. And then hopefully we can win this flooding area with... Okay, Sinister London's gone. So we can just maybe go with Nebula. Will that be enough? I feel like going with the Thing here is probably wise. Even though we lose a bit of Hulk value, I really would like to win that middle location. Of course, with Storm helping out. Okay, we're going to get a lot of nice Abomination value since they've got a Typhoid Mary. Looks like some kind of a Shuri-ish deck. Could be. Okay, we've got the Man-Thing as well here. This is just wonderful. So much value. And we're even going to get the buff on the Hulk. I'm not going to win the middle, it looks like, but I think, well, I hope I'll have enough power to take the other locations here. I'm probably holding off on the Abomination play. Let's go with a Snap and sort of aggress here a little bit. Just get a little bit, you know, aggressive. I'm feeling confident. I've got a 0 mana, 9 power guy right now. 0 energy, I should say. Will that be enough? I guess we're going to find out. Man-Thing value as well is really strong. Really solid here. It's a little bit of a risky one. A little bit of a 50-50 kind of situation here, I feel like. Because the Hulk is probably going to win us whichever location we play it in. I guess I'm going to go for this. It's a little scary. If they have a lot of power in the right location, then they can take it. But I'm going to send this in. We've got the Man-Thing value. We've got that cheap Abomination. Hopefully it's good enough. Let's see what the opponent goes for. Ooh, Enchantress. So they're shutting down the Man-Thing. That's quite worrying. I think that the Hulk will still be enough, though. It's pretty huge. That is a counter to the Man-Thnig that you gotta keep in mind. It does exist. Would have, you know, I mean, it's still 5 value. It kind of traded up on the Enchantress in a way. In some way. Very nice. What do we got? We've played the Nebula. Locations are pretty, you know, pretty standard stuff, really. We don't have Luke Cage, remember, so don't want to take away the power from these units particularly. Although, we can just play him in a different spot. We can also just play him as a way to activate the Abomination, although that's something that's a little bit, how do we say, maybe questionable. Cyclops could be playable here. I think I'm going to go for it. We're not going to get that much Hulk value if I do, so yeah. Maybe we save it, play it next turn, play off the energy curve, you know. Play the 3 cost on turn 4, the 4 cost on turn 5, and so on. Killmonger does come out, ruining my my hope of having any value from those cards. So that's a little bit sad. I think I'm going to go with Cyclops. Where do we go, actually, with Cyclops? Probably in the left. I think the Man-Thnig should be better against Angela. You can see here it actually shows which units are affected by it, which is cool. From the enemy. They're like highlighted in green. It's got a cool effect. We'll have to see what we can do here. We're going to have a huge Hulk play, so hoping I can get that Abomination down in, you know, cost as well, potentially here. With this Man-Thnig play, to be able to play that. If not, we're just going to go with the Hulk, I think, at the end. Let's play him in the Camartage. It's going to be just some, you know, regular value. I think here we're probably ahead enough in the other 2 locations just to slam a Hulk middle. We do have a very cheap Abomination, which is sort of an option, but I think in this particular spot we want to just play Hulk. It's going to be hard, relatively hard for the opponent to overcome the power on both locations here, so, you know, particularly with the Man-Thnig, they're going to retreat. Alright, fair play. I suppose you get a lot of value from this because it's just ongoing. The effect is ongoing. If they're going to slam any 1s or 2s, you're going to clean them up, you know, makes those plays very... Makes the Angela quite weak, right? Quite a nice answer to that. But that was some Man-Thnig gameplay. Definitely a lot of decks you could try this in. Some Zabu, some Clog, as I mentioned. Luke Cage, great card to synergize with this if you're worried about taking away your own power. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.